Good morning, everyone. This is Danny Chong, co-founder and CEO of Tranchess. Before I start the presentation, I want to thank everyone for being here today at this time. So I was talking to a friend earlier on, and they say that whoever can make it in the morning at 10 a.m., either you are very focused on trying to learn about new information and very determined to get new knowledge, or you hardly go for any drinks last night. But I believe that obviously everyone is here because you want to gain new knowledge and know about new things. So very welcome. So on the topic of advancing the convergence of TradFi and DeFi, the convergence of DeFi and TradFi has been an increasingly discussed and focused topic, especially with the increase in investments from TradFi over recent times. The recent failure of crypto entities also brought out questions on whether crypto and DeFi protocols are in the optimized form for the future developments of the long run. And what can be done better, for this to sail smoothly into the future? So over the next few slides, we'll attempt to look at the developments that will lead directly or indirectly to the convergence of TradFi and DeFi. It's not an easy task to manage within 15 minutes, but let's try. First of all, we'll go into the introduction to DeFi. So just a very brief run through in case some of you are not familiar. BTC, Bitcoin, was introduced as a concept following the market crash of 2008. Following the global credit crunch, I think there's Satoshi Nakamoto, which all you all know, who introduced the possibility of a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. The birth of BTC was revolutionary in the fact that it gave rise to two major phenomena on the crypto front. One, which is the rise of many cryptocurrencies with their own characteristics, usages, and benefits. And two, the development of financial innovation and infrastructure over blockchains such as the likes of Ethereum. Fast forward from 2015 to today, Ethereum had gone through multiple forks, upgrades, and recently just finished the change from POW into POS system under the merge. So the continuous development of Ethereum was, of course, important for crypto and blockchain alike, as it sets the foundation infrastructure for other blockchains to follow. The EVM, or the Ethereum Virtual Machine, became a compatibility standard across blockchain that came after, such as BNB Chain, Cardano, Kronos, and so on. The ethos, if we look at decentralized finance, was to offer financial instruments in a decentralized fashion. And DeFi was actually the use case of Ethereum, which quickly flourished and gained recognition across blockchains. So as you can see from the chart on the left, is a bit small. The total TVL of the DeFi ecosystem, after reaching a peak of around 400 billion USD, currently runs at below 100 billion USD dollars. So DeFi 1.0, what is it? DeFi 1.0 was the initial attempt to provide decentralized financial applications using smart contracts and secured Oracle networks without the need of any intermediaries. As expected, because it was experimental, users of DeFi 1.0 suffered from issues ranging from liquidity, security, scalability, tokenomics, sustainability, and even rug pulls. Those familiar with all the big incidents will remember what happened to OneCoin in 2017, 4 billion loss. Like last year in June, we have Iron Finance also losing us 2 billion, and Cream Finance towards the end of last year, which was a more moderate sum of $136 million. The nature of DeFi was always set up to be somewhat experimental in order to encourage innovation. But as DeFi matures, it needs to move ahead more concretely to deliver its core objective of enabling innovative financial products. Concrete steps needs to be taken to reduce volatility via better security, risk management, project management, and increasing transparency in its path forward. So moving on to DeFi 2.0 is an ongoing evolution of DeFi. It can be seen as a continuous direction and effort by DeFi projects to improve on the previous efforts of DeFi 1.0. It should also be noted that some of these improvements and upgrades are not just improving DeFi, but also making it converge towards acceptance, a general acceptance, and also towards TradFi in a way. So in fact, it will be more befitting to call it DeFi 2.0 plus or even 2.5 currently, given the following, given that after the introduction of 2.0, there were already newer concepts that started propelling the development of DeFi forward. Some of the highlights of DeFi 2.0 plus will be definitely the improvement and the need in UI UX, insurance, growth revenue models, use sustainability, improve accessibility and architecture, and among others, regulatory, DAO, and so on. Focusing on maybe just a few, we're looking at insurance. There are stronger needs for insurance for both on-chain and off-chain coverage. I would say that in recent times, the growth in security and understanding of hacks better should not be taken for granted. There's always the need for insurance to guard against smart contract hacks, thefts, and other mishaps that you might not expect. What we need to know is, unfortunately, currently now in coverage and insurance for DeFi is an extremely small percentage. And it's experienced by ourselves as a protocol as well. Only a small percentage of the TVL for each protocol can be covered, and which makes it not ideal. So if someone wants to come and look at investment into DeFi and they know that, I'm only covered for a few percent, it's kind of like pointless. So this needs to be improved. It will be interesting to know as really the off-chain requirement is huge as well, given tons of interest into investing into crypto and maybe from there into DeFi as well. We are seeing a lot of traditional names who offers insurance also coming into offering such covers. Insurance is going to be an important and integral part of the continuous investment into both crypto and DeFi. So we need to pay attention to that. In terms of sustainable yield, I think a lot of people in crypto will definitely be very familiar with the tokenomics that comes along with a lot of the protocol, which is issuing native tokens as a form of staking rewards. Such yields are often very attractive, on extreme cases. Such yields are always very attractive at the beginning stage and often become very, very not attractive as people start to realize there's not much use case for the token. And such extreme selling often lead to a negative spiral of the tokens and maybe even quick loss of interest in the protocol itself, which is bad. So in order to be a sustainable step forward, independent yield is important for building up the credibility of DeFi protocols. An example of sustainable yield would be validator staking, with rewards coming from performing validation services over blockchain networks and earning a portion of gas fees. This is something at Tranchess that we already do on BNB chain. Also liquid staking as well, I guess, which allows bonded underlying to be utilized for other usages. There are also other innovative products that we could be looking at. And the likes of options, structured products, could make a lot of difference to the space of DeFi. Next, we look at growth revenue models. I guess this is quite unusual and normally not being discussed at a DeFi level. A lot of the protocol were not very concerned of establishing revenue models initially. Well, given the experimental nature of DeFi and good times, and you have lots of adequate funding, there wasn't really kind of a focus on that. But with the market capitalization at a low, I think both VCs and protocols alike have recognized that a self-sustainable earning model is crucial for protocol to develop positively forward. So understanding and remolding towards DeFi 2.0 plus is also directly converging towards TradFi, and it can be seen that the direction of path is already set in place for that. Interesting point to note that is technically, actually DeFi worked extremely well and flawlessly throughout the extreme up and downs of volatilities in the market. I know for a fact that, despite the market troughs, a lot of the protocols which we speak to every day are still working hard to deliver new innovations that are robust and secure. So the current TradFi markets, I guess a lot of people will be like, oh yeah, we can converge and we can do what we want in crypto and DeFi, but TradFi markets may not be interested. So the bottlenecks definitely is true for some of them, especially in terms of regulatory requirements of financial institutions to work with companies that has regulatory requirements or approvals as well. So it limits their ability to gain exposure in terms of cryptocurrency and markets. Some companies itself could be basically not set up in terms of running the risk and being traditional finance. If you can't do that, there's no way you can invest. So, there's also very lack of consumer and investor protection, which makes it difficult for your everyday person to come in as well, which obviously there's a lot of restrictions on individuals coming in on investment into DeFi. Tax and theft is also one that people need to be protected from. Obviously, there's always other AML issues, tax evasion, market abuse, and so on. But if we look at the recent news that have been coming out, you should be very happy or to see that there's a lot of improvement in the landscape. Some of the examples I've listed there: BlackRock, Fidelity investing $400 million in Circle USDC. American banks such as JP Morgan, Citi offering trading services. There is also New York Stock Exchange, which earlier they announced a trademark application for NFT, and Singapore, DBS offering its very own digital exchange. And even if we fast forward to September, in the most recent news, I saw that DBS already start offering BTC on its app, on its platform. So this is very fast and forward-looking for Singapore in that sense. In the Nasdaq, offering custody services on crypto. Nomura setting up Laser Digital to invest in DeFi, CeFi, and Web3, and so on. This is actually kind of like a first you are seeing from banks as well moving into this space. So what are the bridges that we need to actually focus on between TradFi and DeFi? Let's look at people. I think people makes the main difference of the advancement between TradFi and DeFi. People coming in from TradFi will be able to provide expertise and knowledge of what they have experienced over many, many, many years. And this can be useful. Why is that? Because if we have to look at it, risk management, treasury management are some of the important aspects that such experience could be bringing. If we remember the recent collapse of Terra Luna and the cascading events that followed through was a wake-up call. If some of these protocols had treasury management not outsourced but managed internally, unfortunate losses could have been prevented. So I believe that as DeFi grow, such expertise should be kept within the protocol itself, or there's some knowledge in that perspective. The transfer of knowledge is only one aspect that is important, but with personnel of experience and track record coming in, the kind of credibility becomes even more prolific. DeFi becomes increasingly attractive and credible for TradFi and mainstream. It could be even soon that one day we'll see TradFi starts hiring people from DeFi, and this will be time where the knowledge and expertise gaps are actually moving very in sync. Next, intermediaries. I think this is a very important highlight that we need more, and it's probably not as enough for now. We need to have more of such entities. The intermediaries will be entities that TradFi, the likes of the EAMs, family offices, private banks, and investment banks will be able to work directly with because they have license. So the intermediaries will not be able to just help you with on-ramp, off-ramp, but they will also help you do all your staking, restaking, auto-compounding processes into DeFi protocols. There will also be weekly, daily mark-to-market in terms of dollars. And to the end client, like it's very simple. They put in USD, they look at their mark-to-market report, and they get back their investments in USD. So it's a clean process. The entire process makes it for entities with little knowledge of DeFi to invest under proper professional care. That's important. The intermediaries will also be able to educate by sharing investment knowledge and trends. So long terms, the end investors will definitely have more knowledge and ready to invest into DeFi directly. And to look at the regulatory support, I think what we need to say is that crypto and DeFi definitely comes into more scrutiny, and understandably, especially with recent blow-ups or unfortunate incidents that impacted institutions and individuals alike. But we can also see a lot of the bright spark that's incoming, including a lot of the countries like France, Singapore, Dubai, Italy, and so on, actually giving crypto license. And even for Singapore, it announced its ambition of having being a global crypto hub, and at the same time started Project Guardian to look in tokenization and DeFi. We as a DeFi protocol are also working with ADGM to formulate ways to regulate and also legitimize certain DeFi protocols. So there is a real interest from government regulatory bodies to help DeFi move ahead. So in conclusion, I guess from hindsight, we can see the good, the bad, and the ugly across the DeFi spectrum. The retrospective view is important for us to understand, learn, and ensure the mistakes that we have encountered are not repeated. And the thoughts and considerations is important for us to decide our next step forward. I would like to emphasize that, mistakes are not failures. Real failures come from repeating mistakes. So the future is bright, and I definitely can see the positives the world will enjoy when DeFi and TradFi converges. It may not be a fast convergence, but it will be a definite one. And with that, I would like to thank everyone for your attention and time. Those who would like to have a further conversation and understand more about Tranchess, we have a meeting room at 4401B. Thank you very much.